Me from Community Tech Reviews, back again another video for you guys. Today I'm going to do a refresher video. Today I want to talk about, is the iPad 2020 model with the A12Z Bionic chip still worth it in 2022? Can you still get a good bang for your buck with this iPad? Well, let's talk about it right now. So here we have the 2020 iPad Pro. You still get a liquid retina display, very beautiful display. The colors look very accurate. The reds are punchy, the blues are punchy. Everything looks just great, and it's an awesome viewing experience. You get your app library on here. It stays up to date. It will be getting iPad OS 16 pretty soon with some of the features only exclusive to M1 iPads, but nonetheless you still get an upgrade with the OS coming pretty soon. Hopefully a new file management system. I'll cover that in the iPad OS 16 what to expect video I'll be making hopefully pretty soon, because I've been really busy with a lot of overtime stuff. So when it comes to web browsing experience, it's still Safari is going to be your best bet. If you like using Chrome or Microsoft Edge, that's cool and all, but the example right now I have up is youtube.com. So once you enter youtube.com, you do get the actual interface or website for YouTube. But if you use Chrome, for example, like for example here, Gmail, Gmail is not optimized for Chrome still to this day. If you want to go to youtube.com, it's going to be m.use.com, the mobile edition on Chrome. And if you used it on Microsoft Edge, for example, if I want to go to YouTube, it takes me straight to the app. But when I search it for on Google, it still gives me like the desktop version, but still not quite the same. So when it comes to your web browsing experience, you still want to stick with Safari. So one of my favorite things about the iPad is using it really as like an e-reader, because it is kind of big. I mean, it's a big tablet. It's 12.9 inches across. So if I wanted to go like to my Kindle though and open up a book, you get the option of reading it in a horizontal fashion, or you could do it like this, flip it vertically, and now you get a whole ebook experience, a nice big electronic thin textbook. So that's kind of nice. That's a good experience you can get with it. And you can use the Apple Pencil to like highlight stuff maybe and take notes. If you want, having the Apple Pencil as an accessory is essential when it comes to the iPad, I think, because you can get a really good experience taking notes and stuff, and just drawing and sketching and doodling around. So the Apple Pencil, I still think, is a very essential accessory if you have an iPad to really utilize that touchscreen and like signing documents and sketching. Like I said, very good experience doing that. And you can turn the screen orientation. You can make it portrait or landscape. So you can do that with the iPad. And that's a good experience. So that's one of my other favorite things I like using the iPad for, is using the ebook reader for like my textbooks for school, or from browsing the web and I want to just read an article on there. Like for example, if I want to go to The Verge or something like that, let's go to theverge.com. So if I wanted to open up a random article from The Verge, I can flip it and read it as if it was like a normal just article or something like that. So that's a pretty good experience there. One of my other favorite things about the iPad Pro is its sound quality. The speakers on here are fantastic speakers. One of the best speakers you can get on a tablet, hands down. So I'm going to play some samples from Epidemic Sounds, which is where I get my music from for my YouTube videos. Not sponsored by Epidemic Sounds, but nonetheless, I do highly recommend Epidemic Sounds for royalty-free background music for your YouTube videos. So let's play some, let's see, relaxing, dreamy. Let's play some Summer Bonfire. Let's play Now Trending. So I'm going to turn this up. You have 4 speakers, 2 here, you get 2 here. Very punchy sound quality. Even my cat is digging it. Hey buddy. bass is very good on here. So that's the sound quality of the iPad Pro, just playing something like that. It's very loud, there's only half volume. It gets very loud and it doesn't get distorted. So the iPad Pro has Dolby Vision on here. And that makes it great for movie experience. So if you're watching something like Bridgerton, you get a nice loud immersion, nice crisp color.
Well, in that case, let us hope his lordship has found himself a new horse.
So, and you get picture-in-picture on the iPad, which is cool, and you can change the screen size to small, big. The only thing is you can only put it from corner to corner. You can't really put it in the middle of your screen. And then you can like brush it to the side. So you can just throw it to the side like that, and there'll be a little arrow key right there for you to pull it back. And with the movie watching experience, the sound is amazing and immersive and loud and crisp and clear, and the colors are probably as intended. Bridgerton is looking a little flat. And if you were to watch this on a Samsung display, for example, it would be contrasty because they're known, not contrast, but saturated, because they're known for saturating the colors, which isn't a bad thing if you like that vividness and that popness in the color. But what I want to talk about is that 4:3 aspect ratio. So you do get major letterboxing here. As you can see, there's big letterboxing here because it's a 16:9 or 21:9, depending on what you're watching. And this aspect ratio is 4:3 because it is like a square. So that's one thing to look out for. Unless you're watching really old shows that had that 4:3 aspect ratio back in the day, then it'll fill up the whole screen. But if you want to fill the screen with like shows that are 16:9, you're gonna get a lot of stuff that is cut off, like a lot. So if I were to fill the box here, for example, if I want to get rid of the letterboxing, I can pinch in, but you would lose a lot. So if you look at to the far left, you lose all that scene. If you look at, yeah, you pretty much will lose everything that's wide. Like half her head goes missing here if I pinch in. So you could view it like that. I mean, there is no really distortion in the quality zooming in.
I haven't had the pleasure of seeing you at our club lately, Ambrose. She didn't have anything to do with the unpaid balance left on our betting books winter last.
You could still fill the screen, but you would lose a lot on the sides. So that's something to keep in mind. Feature that the iPad did add in here, if you swipe from the corner of the screen, it pulls up this little note thing. So you get an Apple Pencil, you can over here and just take some notes and you could write with it. I don't have the best handwriting, but here's a little note for you guys to take note of in case you haven't done that yet. Please subscribe to my channel and then give the video a like if you like the video. So you can pull that up on there to take a quick note. You can change the Apple Pencil settings on here with like different colors and highlighters and whatnot. If you want to highlight something that's very important, you can do that. You can increase the size of the highlighting to make it very important. Now you can't see my note, but nonetheless, talking about writing, drawing on here is a good experience. I have drawn a few interesting sketches on here that I can show you guys here in the next clip. So this is Procreate, and this is something I just randomly sketched out when I was bored. Clearly I have like a lot of anime influence with the way I draw the hairs and whatnot, and like this is supposed to be Legend of Zelda sword, but this is something like I just sketched out. And Procreate is something that's really cool. It costs some money. I forgot how much it costs. I'll put up on the screen, but you have a lot of different options on here when it comes to drawing. My friend actually made a really cool drawing using Procreate only, so you have different things on here that you can use for your drawing and whatnot. And I don't want to mess up my drawing, but this is just an example of stuff that you can create using Procreate. Give you guys an idea of like how fluid the pencil is. Like for example, if I'm just drawing a circle here, if you notice how like fluid the pencil is, like there's no latency, because you get the ProMotion display helps like give you that real-time feeling that you're actually drawing in real time with no latency. So you look really closely at the lines here, you can see that there's no latency, and it's a really cool experience, and I really enjoy actually drawing on here whenever I'm bored. And then you can just slap the pencil on there and it starts charging. One of the main reasons why I got the iPad Pro when I first got it was for video editing, because I couldn't afford a MacBook at the time, and I had troubles with Adobe Premiere Pro on my desktop. Even though I had 32 gigabytes of RAM, NVIDIA 2080 graphics card, I still had a lot of issues. So I've been reading a lot about the iPad Pro and lumafusion. So I started to give it a try, and a lot of my videos, like in a whole year, were from an iPad Pro. And I had a really good experience. I got a lot of good videos that I made and edited. So yeah, I enjoyed it. And one of my projects that I made was, let me see, because I don't have a lot of these clips anymore, but this was about the iPhone 12 or 11. I think it's the iPhone 11
camera
video.
that just flip out. You have a hole punch in the corner. You have teardrop notches. Anything would be better than this big old rectangle chopped off part of the top screen of a notch. Don't like it, but it is what it is. It's their house Face ID. Another thing I don't like is the fact that the iPad Air 4 has Touch ID and the power button, but the iPhone 12 Pro Max does not. And at times like this, where we can't,
So that was about the iPhone 12 Pro Max and my dislikes of it. Though I did like the phone, it did have some battery issues, and that was annoying, really annoying. But here's my old setup. So you do get a lot of options for LumaFusion. You can bring transitions in. You have photos. If you have videos that are linked in your iCloud, you can sync them on here. Imported, story blocks, music, frame.io. You have different aspect ratios, so you can change the frame rate on here, aspect ratio, color space. I mean, this takes a whole video just to cover all the things you get from LumaFusion, but nonetheless, exporting videos on here was very fast. I enjoyed the experience, and a lot of my videos just came from LumaFusion, and yeah, it was really good. So if you don't want a MacBook or can't afford a MacBook, you literally could make your whole YouTube channel videos from an iPad Pro or even an iPad Air, because the iPad Air now has an M1 and that's pretty cheap at like $5.99, I think $4.99. So iPads can be a way to start up your YouTube channel, and you can do a lot with it. It's portable. I mean, 12.9 inches is kind of big, but you have the 11.9 inch Pro, that's pretty portable. The iPad Air is like what, 10.9 something. Very portable devices that you can have a touchscreen experience, use as an ebook, have a good web browsing experience when accompanied with a keyboard such as the Magic Keyboard for the iPad Pros or the Logitech combo keyboards, the Folio keyboards. You can do a lot with just this little tablet here, and it's very portable and user friendly and very easy to use. So I mean, you can do a lot with it. You have Microsoft Word on here, you can do Lightroom editing, Microsoft Word accompanied with a keyboard. You can have a good typing experience on here. You can do a lot, and I can make a whole separate video about the little things you can do with the iPad Pro if you guys want me to. I can show you the Word experience on here, audio editing on here. You can make music on here. I know John Morrison has a whole video on his YouTube channel, very good YouTube channel, about making music just strictly with an iPad. So you can do a lot. And is it worth it in 2020? Yes. If you can find an iPad Pro 4th generation out there, maybe used or refurbished or even brand new, and it's going to be cheaper than the M1s, go ahead. But I mean, the M1 iPad Pro 11.9 inch still has the M1. It's $799 to start off, and that's because you're not getting that liquid XDR display. So you still get a really good experience with either iPad. So it doesn't matter which iPad you get, to be honest, because all the iPads are pretty powerful these days. And if you still have the 2021, should you upgrade? Probably not. If you have the 4th generation iPad Pro 12.9 inch, you probably don't need the M1 iPad Pro, because you can still do pretty much all the same things. The only thing you really would get is a faster processor and a liquid XDR mini LED display. Until Apple can make pro apps like Final Cut Pro on the newer iPads, then you pretty much still get the same experience, and I would recommend upgrading if you already have this. So that's it for me. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. And if there's something that I missed, leave a comment below and I'll try to cover it and we can discuss in the comment section. But I just wanted to do a quick refresh on the iPad Pro, what I use it for, and its efficiencies. And the accessories, I've made some videos about the accessories, such as the Logitech Combo. The Magic Keyboard obviously is a good accessory, but very expensive. So I opted with the Logitech because that has a very good backlighting and all that stuff, and just more function keys. Function keys with the Logitech Combo had. So Talk about the accessories, like the Apple Pencil that's been sitting there this whole time. So you can go to take notes from the bottom of the screen. You can pull up something like this. You can take a new note, and like I could write something like subscribe to my channel with a highlighter. Or I could change it to just the white pencil and say subscribe. And writing on here is very good. The latency is very smooth thanks to that ProMotion display of 120 hertz. And bear in mind, if you do put on power limiting mode, or if you want a battery save, is that even on here? Oh, they don't have it on the iPad. Okay, but if you are power saving on the 120 hertz display on the iPhone, which is irrelevant to this video, it will go down to 60 hertz, which seems very choppy. But nonetheless, the writing experience on here is very smooth. So if you can see here, if I just squiggle the line, there's no latency. It just goes with it, which is pretty cool. And that's thanks to that 120 hertz ProMotion and the latency of this pencil, which is very good. Very, very good. So you can take notes on Microsoft Word, the OneNote app. You can pull those up and just draw with it, or just take notes by writing. And there's a lot of good apps you can write with, such as Notability, and you can even use the Apple Pencil for like writing on here. So like if you want to write note, you can do that, and then note will come up, and you can pull up something like Good Notes, and then you could go to your ethics class notes, and if you want to take notes, I can just write on here. And you get a lot of good features on GoodNotes. So that's in one application you could use. There's applications like Procreate where you can squiggle here and write Pro. Hopefully it picks it up, and then Procreate, and then you can draw stuff like this, for example, that had you run Procreate. You can get really creative with the iPad Pro, and you could just take it with you on the go. And if you want to make it a laptop, you can get something like the Logitech Combo here, Folio, which is very nice keyboard. Very, very nice keyboard. So you can open up like that, you can detach it, the smart connectors like this. So the application on here is pretty easy. You can just slide it in like so, pop it in there, and then you're good to go. And now you have some protection on the back. You have an Apple Pencil holder over there, and if you want to use it as a keyboard, connect the smart connector. And then you have the stand back here to make it a laptop. And boom, now you have a laptop. And then let's see, does it work? Yeah, so you can get the Mac OS, oh my Dragon Ball. You get the Mac OS like experience. So 3 fingers up to like go back. You have the swipe gestures are the same. So for like on a web browser, for example, and if I want to go back, it's, you know, the back button, back swiping, forward swiping. If I wanted to leave, is it 2 fingers up or 3? What did I just do? So scrolling up and down, 3 fingers to leave, 3 fingers held up to see all your applications. And while you're seeing all your applications, another thing I wanted to bring up is there's no close all option. You have to like scroll all the way or swipe up to get rid of all the apps. So that's another gripe that I have. But this keyboard is backlit, which is nice. The Magic Keyboard isn't backlit. And this has function keys. The Magic Keyboard didn't have function keys. And you can lock the screen from here, which is nice. But that's cool. And I didn't like the Magic Keyboard just because it didn't have function keys, which is very nice actually. So, not that in my face. Yeah, this has lots of play pause button. It has volume up and down, mute. You can control the brightness. It's very nice. I wish the Magic Keyboard had that, because for a $300 keyboard, you should have function keys, search button. So like it should have all of this stuff on here, but it didn't. But this does, which is very, very nice. So you can do a lot with this keyboard. The only thing I don't like is this kickstand. The Magic Keyboard, you can pretty much connect it like a magnet, and it'll dock on there. It'll be great. Great experience, but not very, I mean, it'd be more lappable than this, because putting this on your lap would be very hard with this little kickstand back here. So that's one thing that kind of sucked. So I eventually got something called the Bridge Keyboard Max. And that really made my iPad look like a little MacBook. It's very nice, though it doesn't feel as smooth This is the Bridge Keyboard Max, and as you can see, it gets very dirty. This kind of is reminiscent to the Magic Keyboard, where it just would stain and get dirty real easily. But if you open it up, it does look a lot like, kind of like a MacBook. It has the giant trackpad, the keypad. It's not a scissor keyboard. So the keyboard I do prefer in the Logitech and Magic Keyboard. It's not a scissor switch keyboard, but still pretty good. Again, this is an easy application. Just slide it on there, boom, it snaps right on. So this does give you like a MacBook-like experience. This is a little bit more lappable, but not this, I don't know if that's a word, more capable of being on your lap without any issue. It is backlit, which is nice. It does, you can control brightness on here. You have the Bluetooth button over here to connect Bluetooth. You have your volume keys. You have your play, pause, rewind. You have the control button. You have this little light bulb. It doesn't really do anything. You have the on button to turn on the keyboard, and then you have this, which is, if you double tap, it shows you all your applications. It's backlit, and you have the microphone on the left for Siri, which is cool. Command keys, so you can do a lot with this keyboard. It's pretty cool, and it gives you a very MacBook-like experience. That's the reason why I got this keyboard, is I wanted to leave my MacBook at home to dock it as like a desktop basically, and then take my iPad with me because I miss my iPad. But another gripe with this is that it's not protecting the Magic Pencil. So that's one of my gripes with this. There's no way to protect the Magic Pencil, so it has fallen off a lot while I carry it around, which kind of sucks, but there are other stuff like out there, like the Spigen Tough Armor case. This does protect your Magic Pencil because it kind of stays in here in this little pouch area, and then when you put the iPad on there, it kind of sits snug, and you can poke through this hole to take your Apple Pencil out. And it's got a nice little kickstand here that's very adjustable. So this is what I usually use when I want to keep my iPad on my desk without having a keyboard extending out, and still use it to like sign documents or use Universal Control, which is a pretty cool experience. Universal Control is basically connecting the MacBook and iPad OS together with the mouse and the keyboard, and it doesn't matter which mouse or keyboard it is. And this can connect to any mouse and keyboard. Like if you don't want to have it connected to something like this, you can put it on something like the Spigen Tough Armor case and have it sitting in whatever orientation you want, and connect a Bluetooth keyboard to it, like the Logitech MX Keys or MX Master Mouse. You can connect those as well, and it'll work just fine. So I've gone on for about 20 minutes talking about the iPad Pro, and if it's still worth it in 2022, even though this is a 2020 iPad Pro, it's worth it. If you want something that's very portable, has great speakers, a great screen, very powerful enough to edit on LumaFusion if you can learn LumaFusion or iMovie, or even Premiere Rush. If you want to edit on the go like that and use GarageBand, you can do that. John Morrison has a fantastic YouTube channel where he shows you how to use the iPad Pro for making professional music. Very capable device that can do a lot. So check out his channel if you haven't already. I'm sure you have. He's very popular. So this is worth it in 2022. If you want something that's a good e-reader, I didn't even talk about that. Let me talk about the e-reader experience, and then we'll leave this video. So taking this out of the Bridge keyboard thing is kind of hard, but e-reader, just flip this over. E-reader experience, pretty much the same thing if you go to a website, and if you're just using this, if you want to read like article style, flip it over, and it's a good experience. So that's it from me. I've talked for 20 minutes about this. Hopefully this video helps you if you are making an iPad purchase, if you want to save your money for an older generation one, such as the 4th, or if you're going to buy an upcoming one. It's pretty much the same thing, just a different chip, powerful processor, different display with mini LED, until iPad can fix its system and make it more professional-like. It's pretty much going to be the same experience. So that's it from me. Take care. Peace.